The honourable member from Calgary Forest Lawn.
This week's Liberal NDP inflation-fueling false hopes update is not worth the cost. Prices are up, rents are up, debt is up, taxes are up, and after 8 years, time's up for this Prime Minister. $20 billion of new inflationary spending is ballooning the debt. Next year, the Prime Minister will spend more tax dollars on the interest to his debt than on health transfers. Wow. Why is this Prime Minister giving more money to bankers and bondholders while Canadians go broke and hungry?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, I thank the member opposite for his question because it gives me an opportunity to let him know what's up. What's up in this country is home construction, Mr. Speaker. Our fall economic statement has indicated that we are building more homes from coast to coast to coast right across this great country because that's what Canadians need right now, Mr. Speaker. It also contains important measures that will strengthen competition in this country and help stabilize prices. What's down, Mr. Speaker, is inflation in Canada. Thank you.
The honourable member from Calgary Forest Lawn.
She wants to talk about housing. The only thing they did for housing was change the name of the housing department. And Canadians want results. They don't want more photo ops. Rents are up. Mortgages are up. Needed down payment for a house is doubled after 8 years. This Liberal NDP government are not worth the cost. When will they stop the photo ops and build more homes and not more bureaucracy?
Good job. The Honourable Minister for Housing, Communities and Infrastructure.
Mr. Speaker, it's fascinating. It's clear the honourable member hasn't actually read the document when he seems to have missed $15 billion in low-cost loans that's going to get Canada building. He missed a $1 billion investment to keep affordable housing going. He missed the fact that we're cracking down on short-term rentals to release tens of thousands of homes to increase supply. When I actually look at their plan, Mr. Speaker, they want to raise taxes on home builders by putting the GST back on. They want to cut funding for cities that build homes through the Housing Accelerator Fund, and they want to add layers of bureaucracy to do it. We're going to do it today to get more homes built. I invite the Conservatives to join us.
The honourable member from Simcoe North.
Mr. Speaker, after 8 years of this Liberal government, everything's up. Mortgages are up, rent payments are up, inflation is up, groceries are up, taxes are up. And yet, the Bank of Canada has asked for help in keeping inflation down. They've asked for governments to limit their spending growth to 2.5% each year. Except guess what this government just announced? An increase in growth of spending of over 5% for next year. Is the minister trying to make misery go up for Canadians too?
Yes, he is.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, I can hardly believe that the Conservatives are talking about taxes. We reduced taxes for middle-class Canadians on 2 occasions, Mr. Speaker, and the entire Conservative caucus, every single Conservative member, voted against lowering taxes for the Canadians that needed it most, Mr. Speaker. The fall economic statement that we put forward this week shows the strong fundamentals of our fiscal frame, Mr. Speaker. We have the lowest deficit among all G7 countries, and we will have the highest growth in 2024 among all G7 countries, Mr. Speaker. We are proud of our record. We are continuing to be there for Canadians. Thank you.
The honourable member from Simcoe North.
Mr. Speaker, this government's record is inflationary deficits driving up the cost of living. Yep. In fact, 1 year ago, the finance minister stood in the House and presented a plan that would balance the budget in 2027. When asked whether that was by mistake or by design, the minister took great boastfulness in saying it was deliberate and by design. Except now we learn the budget will be balanced in the year never. So does the government actually have a plan to ever balance the budget and bring down inflationary deficits so Canadians can keep their homes?
The Honourable Minister for Innovation.
Mr. Speaker, you know what's up, Mr. Speaker? It's our ranking in the world, Mr. Speaker. You know what's up is the number of jobs that we've created in this country. You know what's up, Mr. Speaker, is the prosperity in this country. Mr. Speaker, we rank 3rd in the world now for foreign direct investment, Mr. Speaker. We have seen landmark investment in the auto sector, in the mining sector, in biomanufacturing, in steel, in aluminium, Mr. Mr. Speaker. Canada is winning on the world stage while the Conservative want to bring us to the Stone Age.
The honourable member from Lethbridge.
Well, after 8 years of this Liberal government, we know that prices are up, rent is up, we know that mortgage rates are up and taxes are up, and we know that Canadians are fed up with this current government. Just this week, this government chose to spend an additional $20 billion, which goes towards our overall national debt load, which means that now, just on interest, just interest, will cost Canadians $51 billion per year. Imagine that. That's enough to build 25 new hospitals and a whole host of new doctors. Imagine the difference that would make for Canadians. So why is the Prime Minister choosing to support wealthy bankers instead of the healthcare needs of Canadians?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, when we unveiled our plan to build more homes across this country faster, the Conservative leader called that disgusting. When the Conservatives talk about the spending that they would cut, they're talking about removing supports that Canadians need. They're talking about taking away the benefits that Canadians rely on, benefits for seniors, benefits for family, benefits for people who need it most, Mr. Speaker. The plan of austerity that the Conservatives are proposing is not worth the risk.
Yeah, chop, chop, chop.
The Honourable Member from Lethbridge.
The member didn't respond to my question, so perhaps she didn't understand it. I'll put it forward again. $51 billion is spent every single year just on interest towards our national debt. $51 billion. That's enough to build more than 25 brand new hospitals and a whole host of new doctors. It's twice as much as what this government is willing to spend on our national defense. The men and women who wear a uniform and protect our front lines. Yes. Are they not worth more than the out-of-control spending spree that this government selfishly takes upon itself?
The Honourable Minister for Health.
Well, here's the inconvenient truth, Mr. Speaker, that in order for the party opposite to do what they're talking about, that they would have to cut massively into every aspect of the federal government. And so I asked them, she talks about health care, where we're making historic investments right now to ensure that the health care system is public and there for Canadians. And when we heard about common sense Conservatives in Ontario, we saw a direct attack against public health care. So will they cut dental care? Will they cut the transfers? Will they cut the critical supports that are there in health care and promotion? Exactly what kind of cuts are they going to do?